The following presentation contains a fictional emergency alert system, EAS, scenario created for creative, educational, and entertainment purposes only. This scenario is not an actual alert, warning, or activation of the emergency alert system. Any resemblance to real-world emergencies, events, or broadcasts is purely coincidental. This fictional scenario may include authentic EAS tones, broadcast alerts, and real siren sounds. Please be aware that these elements are used strictly for dramatic effect. Misuse of EAS tones, alerts, or siren audio outside of a controlled and clearly fictional environment may cause public confusion, fear, or widespread panic. Such misuse is taken seriously and, under federal law in the United States, may be considered a criminal offense. The creators of this scenario strongly advise that it be treated as a work of fiction only. It must not be redistributed, transmitted, or broadcast in a manner that could be mistaken for a genuine emergency message. Listener and viewer discretion is advised.
We're particularly excited to have been selected through a highly competitive bid process to be not only the host broadcaster, but the domestic rights holder for the 2015 Pan American and Para-Pan American Games held here in Toronto. CBC has a long history.
The event type is classified as a civil emergency. Civil authorities have officially declared a civil emergency due to a widespread and unexplained water shortage affecting multiple regions across the country, including Ontario, Alberta, British Columbia, Quebec, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Nova Scotia, and New Brunswick. At this time, officials have not yet determined the cause of these water outages, and investigations are ongoing to identify the source and extent of the disruption. The Office of Emergency Services is strongly advising all residents to immediately store clean water in bottles, jugs, and other secure containers to ensure personal safety, maintain hygiene, and support essential household needs during this period. Public services will begin delivering emergency water supplies to residents in critical need, prioritizing vulnerable populations, including the elderly, children, and individuals with medical conditions. Citizens who require assistance are urged to contact their local emergency centers or visit official government websites for real-time updates, guidance, and resources. For immediate help, residents can call the emergency hotline at 1-800-555-0199 or visit www.emergencyservices.gc.ca. Residents are strongly advised to conserve water at all times, including avoiding unnecessary water use, refraining from using hose pipes or sprinklers, and limiting the operation of water-intensive appliances. The dumping of plastic waste, chemicals, or other materials into rivers, lakes, dams, or oceans is strictly prohibited, as such actions may worsen the shortage and create additional environmental hazards. Failure to comply with these emergency regulations may result in detainment or arrest, making cooperation from every citizen critical to maintaining public safety, ensuring equitable access to resources, and preventing further strain on emergency services during this ongoing crisis.
It's a great line for games. Yeah. And I think people are going to love it, and then they're going to understand what we're trying to create and how it links games and entertainment, the functionality of the box, some of the advantages that you get of having a box that is designed to use an online state. Mm-hmm. So that, to me, is a future-proof choice. And I think people could have arguably gone the other way if we didn't do it, and fortunately we have a product for people who aren't able to get some form of connectivity. It's called Xbox 360.
Right. So stick with 360, that's your message if you don't.
This is a message from the Emergency Alert System. The National Weather Service and the Department of Homeland Security have issued a local area emergency for the northern United States due to fresh water reserves reaching critical depletion levels. At this time, it is still unknown what is causing this phenomenon, as the government hasn't issued any water outages. However, we will investigate thoroughly to the best of our ability, deploying scientific teams, monitoring water sources, and assessing infrastructure integrity to determine the root cause. Due to such conditions, local governments are enforcing immediate water conservation protocols designed to prevent further strain on already limited resources. All residents must adhere to strict rationing to limiting personal water use to essential needs, only including drinking, cooking, and basic hygiene. Non-essential activities, including vehicle washing, lawn watering, recreational water use, and industrial usage not tied to emergency operations, are now strictly prohibited. Law enforcement agencies and local officials have been instructed to monitor compliance closely and issue citations or penalties as necessary to ensure public safety and resource preservation. Hospitals, clinics, and emergency centers are operating under contingency plans to sustain hydration, sanitation, and medical operations with limited water supplies. Efforts include rationing, emergency water distribution, and prioritization of critical facilities and vulnerable populations. Citizens are strongly advised to remain calm, follow all local advisories, conserve water wherever possible, and report any illegal or suspicious water usage to authorities immediately. Authorities are continuing to assess the situation and coordinate response efforts. Updates will be provided as more information becomes available. Residents are urged to stay informed through official channels, including local news, government websites, and emergency broadcast systems, to ensure their safety and access to vital resources during this critical emergency.
This is a national emergency update from the Australian government. The crisis has now officially reached critical levels and continues to worsen across Australia, with water levels in major reservoirs, rivers, and groundwater supplies dropping to historically low points. In response, the government has enacted nationwide emergency legislation to strictly control water access and distribution. Strict penalties, including heavy fines and imprisonment, are now in effect for any individual or organisation found wasting, misusing, or hoarding water supplies. All citizens are required to comply with the Essential Use Only Directive, which limits water usage to drinking, medical care, food preparation, and other government-approved critical needs. Non-compliance will be treated as a federal offence under the National Security Water Act, and enforcement teams are active in monitoring compliance across all states and territories. Public facilities, including parks, schools, and non-essential government buildings, have been temporarily closed to conserve available supplies. The Australian Defence Force is deployed to assist with emergency distribution of water to highly affected regions, ensuring critical resources reach those in need. The Prime Minister has urged all citizens to remain disciplined, cooperate fully with authorities, and follow official guidelines, as the situation continues to deteriorate and additional measures may be implemented to protect the nation's water security. Further updates will be provided through official channels as the emergency evolves.
This is an emergency broadcast transmitted by the government of the Republic of South Africa. A national state of emergency has been declared due to critical water depletion across the country. Official reports from the Department of Water and Sanitation confirm that national reservoirs, dams, and underground water sources have fallen to below 10% of total capacity. Multiple provinces, including the Western Cape, Eastern Cape, Northern Cape, Free State, Gauteng, and KwaZulu-Natal, are experiencing severe shortages with little to no water flowing through municipal systems. Cape Town remains the most critically impacted area. All households will now receive restricted water supply under a nationwide rationing system. Water will be distributed according to scheduled supply periods set by local municipalities. Citizens are strongly urged to store only small, approved amounts of water for essential uses such as drinking, cooking, and medical care. Any unauthorized collection, storage, or sale of water is strictly forbidden under national emergency law. Offenders will face immediate arrest, prosecution, and detention under the Emergency Management Act. All schools, universities, and non-essential government offices have been closed until further notice to conserve remaining water supplies. Hospitals and medical facilities have shifted to emergency reserve tanks and are prioritizing critical patients. The South African Police Service, SAPS, and the South African National Defence Force, SANDF, have been fully mobilized to maintain order, enforce rationing regulations, and protect national water infrastructure. Military transports are being used to deliver water to priority zones across the country. All citizens are advised to remain calm, follow official broadcasts and government instructions closely. Please be safe and stay hydrated.
Ready or not, here I come. You can't hide. Ready or not, here I come. You can't hide. Ready or not, here I come. You can't hide.
Take the shot. Take the shot. What a save.
Make incredible saves and score amazing goals in Rocket League, an award-winning hybrid of arcade soccer and driving. Play for fun, live to play. Rated E for everyone.
This is an official civil emergency message issued by the United States government and the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA. Both the northern and southern regions of the United States are experiencing an unprecedented crisis, with water resources approaching near total depletion. Emergency water reserves have been critically reduced, and existing rationing limits have been lowered further to conserve remaining supplies. Hospitals and medical facilities are prioritizing hydration and essential water distribution to the most vulnerable populations, including infants, the elderly, and patients in critical care. federal law enforcement agencies have been granted full authority to intervene in any incidents involving unauthorized water diversion, hoarding, or illicit black market trading. All agricultural irrigation activities are suspended indefinitely until further notice to preserve the remaining water for essential human survival. Critical infrastructure, including power plants and water treatment facilities, is under federal protection, and curfews may be imposed in specific regions to maintain public order and safeguard these facilities. All citizens are strongly urged to remain indoors during restricted hours and to strictly limit water usage to what is necessary for survival. Compliance with federal directives is mandatory, and violations may result in legal consequences. The situation is evolving rapidly, and further updates and instructions will be provided through official channels as the crisis develops.
An environmental disaster has been confirmed. We have reported abnormal activity within the Sun's core. Further studies confirm that the entire star's luminosity has increased by approximately 5%, which has caused widespread droughts and severe water shortages across the globe. Scientists believe this increase in solar energy output is directly responsible for the growing instability of Earth's climate, including rising temperatures and reduced rainfall in multiple regions. Environmental geologists have also warned that human activity has accelerated these effects, with 25.5% of Earth's surface now without any reliable source of water. South Africa has been identified as the hardest hit country, with 7 provinces already in a state of severe crisis. Experts caution that if this solar instability continues to progress at its current rate, humanity may face an extinction-level event. NASA has urged all governments and scientific institutions to act immediately, as failure to do so could render Earth uninhabitable within a short period of time.
These images we have recorded and analyzed are deeply distressing and paint a picture of irreversible devastation. Current global assessments indicate that an estimated 4 billion lives have already been lost, with countless others unaccounted for as communication networks continue to fail. The Earth's remaining freshwater reserves, both surface and underground, are now on the verge of complete depletion. Scientists across multiple agencies have confirmed that, at the current rate of evaporation and contamination, all accessible water will be gone within the next 7 days. The sun's luminosity has now risen by approximately 7% and is projected to reach 10% within the coming days. This surge has caused an unprecedented spike in global temperatures, with ultraviolet radiation levels far exceeding what the human body can endure. The ozone layer has thinned to a near vanishing point, leaving the planet's surface completely exposed to cosmic and solar radiation. As a result, oxygen levels in the atmosphere are dropping faster than previously modeled, and breathable air will no longer be sustainable within 5 days. In short, the Earth's biosphere is collapsing. The soil has turned sterile, the oceans have boiled away, and what remains of the atmosphere is becoming toxic to all known life forms. Humanity's final chapter is at hand. There are no solutions, no reversals, and no technological means left to alter what has already been set in motion. From all of us at NASA, we express our deepest sorrow. Every effort was made to save our world, but time and nature have prevailed. To those still listening, take comfort in peace, cherish your final moments, and know that you were part of a remarkable species.
Greetings. It appears that we have now entered an irreversible and avoidable crisis, one that humanity could have prevented if only we had acted sooner. Not long ago, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA, officially confirmed that the global event currently unfolding is unavoidable. There is now no known method to prevent the Earth from becoming uninhabitable. For decades, the warnings were there. Scientists, environmentalists, and countless experts cautioned us about the dangerous path we were heading down, yet we chose convenience over caution, ignorance over awareness. If we had truly understood the consequences of our actions, if we had recognized the damage we inflicted upon our own planet, perhaps this moment would never have arrived. We should have known. We should have realized the devastation we were causing. But now, it is too late. Humanity stands at the end of its own creation, facing the collapse of everything it once built. This is CNN. Signing off. Goodbye.
I've been trying my best to stay hydrated over this course of this week. I don't know what to do anymore. I've been trying to stay hydrated. I am struggling to breathe so much because of these goddamn conditions. It's like the end of the world is upon us. The sun is slowly boiling us to the point of destruction, to the point of us simply ceasing to exist. If anyone finds this voice, know one thing: we're headed for a bleak future, a future that is incapable of providing Earth with life. I'm so out of breath right now. Goodbye.
This is the BBC. We are sorry, but this is our final broadcast.
We have received a message transmitted at the request of the United States government, NASA, the International Space Agency, and the National Weather Service. And you must pay close attention, as it contains information regarding an event that will occur globally within the next few days. In the days to come, the Earth will become uninhabitable. The Sun's luminosity has already increased by 10%, and the cause remains entirely unknown. The effects are now being felt across the world as a result of both humanity's actions and the Sun's instability. Accelerated global warming has caused an average temperature of 200 degrees Fahrenheit, or approximately 93 degrees Celsius. 98% of the planet's water and atmosphere have already disappeared. These effects far surpass the limits of human endurance and will continue to intensify. There is nothing left that can be done. Eventually, the planet's surface will become molten, and the Earth will turn into a boiling, lifeless sphere. You are advised to seek solace and comfort wherever you can, in the company of loved ones or through any remaining source of peace. Although panic is a natural reaction, we advise maintaining calmness and acceptance in this final moment. As time passes, we advise euthanasia for yourself and your loved ones to prevent unbearable and unimaginable suffering. This message will repeat until there is no one left to hear it. Thank you for being with us. This has been the BBC. Goodbye.
This message will be broadcast to all cable and broadcasting systems during this national and global emergency. This station has interrupted its programming to issue a critical message. If you are in a vehicle, please pull over or exit at the nearest opportunity or listen to the radio, and pay serious attention to this message. This is not a test. Please stand by.
Accelerated global warming has caused an astonishing average temperature of 200 degrees Fahrenheit or 93 degrees C. 98% of the planet's water and atmosphere have already vanished. These effects far surpass the limits of human tolerance and will continue to accelerate. There is nothing left to be done. And in a situation where evacuation plan can be developed, it will be far too late eventually. The planet's soil will become molten, transforming the Earth into a boiling, lifeless world. You are advised to seek solace and comfort wherever possible, in the embrace of loved ones, or through any other source of strength. Although panic is a natural reaction, we advise maintaining calmness and acceptance in this dire situation. As time passes, we advise euthanasia for yourself and your loved ones to prevent agonizing and unimaginable suffering. This message will repeat until no one is left to hear it. Thank you for being part of this country.
This is an official global emergency message from the United Nations, delivered in coordination with the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA, the International Space Agency, and all participating world governments. This will be the final transmission from the United Nations. The Earth has entered the terminal phase of its habitability. The Sun's luminosity has increased by 10%, an astronomical anomaly for which no cause has yet been determined. This surge has unleashed irreversible devastation across every continent, ocean, and atmospheric layer. Temperatures have risen beyond human tolerance, with an average global surface temperature now exceeding 200 degrees Fahrenheit, or approximately 93 degrees Celsius. Nearly 98% of all water and atmospheric reserves have evaporated or been burned away, leaving behind only dust, scorched flames, and the silent echoes of what was once a thriving world. The remaining air is now thin, corrosive, and filled with toxins. Breathing without aid has become impossible. Global infrastructure has collapsed. Communications, power grids, and all life-supporting systems have failed. Crops, forests, and wildlife have ceased to exist. The polar ice caps have fully melted, leaving oceans of vapor and barren land masses split by fire and collapse. Every attempt by the scientific community and global space agencies to restore equilibrium or construct protective barriers has ended in failure. Experimental atmospheric filters, orbital shields, and evacuation projects have been rendered useless by the magnitude of this catastrophe. The environmental destabilization has reached a level beyond any possible recovery. Within days, the planet's crust will liquefy, transforming Earth into a molten wasteland adrift in silence. To those who still hear this broadcast, the United Nations urges you to remain calm. If you are with loved ones, hold them close. If you are alone, find peace within your spirit. Humanity has endured, fought, and triumphed through countless ages, and though this marks the end of our world, it need not mark the end of our unity. Let us meet this final moment together, not in fear, but in dignity, compassion, and the shared memory of who we were. We extend our eternal gratitude to all scientists, leaders, and citizens who have devoted their lives to the preservation of our species. Even in the face of impossible odds, humanity's perseverance and courage have stood as symbols of hope across the cosmos. This message will not be repeated. The United Nations thanks every soul that contributed to the progress of mankind. May we be remembered not for our failures, but for the hope, courage, and unity we carried until the very end. This has been the final broadcast of the United Nations. May peace and what remains of light be with you all.
what you waiting on? No! 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 No!